Is guacamole a fruit salad?
What is the best milkshake for bringing boys to the yard?
Ostriches are dinosaurs.
Don't piss off old people. New game.
What do you mean it gives you Arby's mouth?
Artisanal muck duck balls.
I think they call that autofellatio.
I want to high five a shark.
Welcome to Bar Banter. Relax, have a drink with us as we debate the most controversial topics in the world today.
On today's podcast, we talk about punishments for social faux pas. This will be a continuation of the previous episode. And if you want to go ahead and listen to that one, you can. You don't have to, but it's a good one. So let's get into it.
Our last topic for this evening. I have 10 social faux pas. And I want us to come up with a punishment for these individuals who committed said faux pas.
Can I give you a punishment right now for all of them?
I mean, yes, but they should probably be equivalent to their malfeasance.
This is the
Good use of
punishment
malfeasance.
that's going to save the world and put all our children. I'm a firm believer that we should just have basic public caning for everything anybody ever does wrong.
Some people are into that.
Especially if you're born in the 2000s.
Yeah, so for some people, that's not a punishment.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not punishment enough. I appreciate where you're going.
Public caning's like standing on the table
No,
in the middle
I
of the
fully
restaurant.
understand the scope of
In
the
the
punishment
restaurant,
here.
in public.
No, I fully understand the scope of the punishment here, but
And
for some,
you're still okay with that.
for some, death is not.
Some, Rick. Okay, I gotcha.
So you'll have to...
hangings.
No.
Wow.
Okay, I heard.
No, she said caning.
Cane.
I
Cane.
said death. Yes.
Cane, like raising canes. So the first one is the unwanted confessions in an elevator. You step into an elevator and try to make small talk with a coworker, only to accidentally blurt out, or they blurt out, "So my Tinder date last night was awkward," and then throughout the story, you realize the entire elevator is quiet and just listening to your story. What's the punishment for oversharing in a public space? Is probably the best way to put this.
I think each individual in said public space gets one open hand slap to the confessor.
Okay.
So similar to public canings, but because to me the faux pas here is the overshare.
Yes.
And so if you and I are having the conversation about your Tinder date and we happen to go into the elevator, I think that's different than the unwanted overshare.
Right.
And so the unwanted overshare, and I think it's the reasonable person standard on what that is. Right. Once we hit that
This
area.
is coworker. So like
Right,
you and I
right.
having this conversation,
right.
we can go a little bit more in depth.
Like you and I may want to know that, but like it's the acquaintance where like you kind of tolerate throughout the day, not really friends. I think it's you get an open-handed, just 1, 2, 3, and then everybody gets it. Whoever's in the space.
See, I think you're thinking a little too inside the box, and I want to say something to the effect of like reading their first 3 text messages in terms of like they're the people that I guess text message conversations.
I appreciate the creativity there, but you also have to think about it as punishment. I don't know how it should fit the crime, but it also should solve the problem.
Okay.
And that person who overshares willingly is not going to feel this shame that you want them to feel with reading the text messages because they're already oversharing.
Right.
And so like for us, that may be an suitable punishment, but for that individual, you're almost feeding the need to overshare because it's additional oversharing. And so that's why to me, that doesn't work. I appreciate the creativity, but you also have to think about the individual who is being punished.
Go ahead, Ben.
So the person who's oversharing clearly wants to be talkative, clearly wants to get their ideas out to somebody to listen. I mean, that's the whole point about oversharing. So the punishment, you're saying this is in an elevator, the punishment is they have to go up to the roof and sit on the roof by themselves for the rest of the day without their phone. So whether it's an office or security or whatever building you're in, their phone goes there, and they got to be able to root the rest of the day by themselves.
I like that. Adult timeout. I like it.
I had kind of a similar one, Ben, but just no more elevators. Like that person can no longer take elevators.
Oh, yes.
1 year, no elevator.
And like punishment fits the crime. So like, if I have to go up, let's say 20 stories with this person, it's 5 times however many stories that is per overshare. So they for 100, so that'd be 5 times. They have to take the stairs.
Nice.
Completely up 20 stories.
I like the no elevators too.
Yeah.
However,
I'm a fan.
as a mother and a teacher, I think about how punishments and rewards need to be more immediate. And so for the next year of no elevators, I'm not sure. But I do like the idea. And then because I'm Travis's mother, my first thought was...
Wait, what?
My first thought was they at the next stop on the elevator, which could be whatever button you push, they have to drop drawers, run a lap, come back,
Yep.
and sit on the elevator again. Because they should.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at that either, but to me that it's more like that the person who overshares would welcome that kind of attention.
Not necessarily.
So I
something verbal is not the same as running around.
to the reasonable people it's not, but the people oversharing are not reasonable people. And so I like Drew's a lot.
I do too. But again, not immediate, and sometimes
it's not immediate, but in that sense, I appreciate it may not necessarily be correcting the problem from their perspective.
Wait till you have kids.
No. I agree that like if we're talking about true correction, it's probably not the best. But also, from my perspective, I am saved for a longer period of time of having to listen to the overshare.
This is true. Unless the naked running cures it.
No, you're right, but also that person's not reasonable and you can't save them. So I like I will jump my camp and like, yes, you don't get to elevator ride for a year. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, let's do elevator ride for a year. No elevator ride for a year. Love it.
Am I supposed to be able to tell you that I'm a really cheap drunk and that
You can.
that one shot?
Your marketability as an employee is going way down, Debbie.
You had a few shots.
Oh, how many were in here?
A little over 2.
Oh, never mind.
I don't feel anything. Our next social faux pas. Ooh, I feel something now. You walk into the restroom and you go into a stall. It opens, but there's someone in there and you just linger a little too long. You being like the other person lingers, but yes, someone walks in, opens the stall, there's someone sitting on said toilet, and that person who walked in on the stall just like lingers and just like, why are you still standing here?
Incidental contact. There is no punishment required to either because you person who are in the stall failed to lock the door. So that is your due punishment for not locking.
Okay.
And
if there was no lock on the door, you shouldn't be sitting in the
correct.
stall.
So incidental contact, no punishment for me. Now, while the lingerer, the person who lingers, the act of lingering is weird and probably should be studied. Regardless, it's your fault you allowed that situation. So take accountability, lock the door.
I completely agree. However, if you do have to go into a stall that doesn't have a lock and you have no choice, you've got to go and sit and somebody lingers, then they have to sit there and listen to you overshare.
See, in keeping with my caning, I say make them stand by the door and go smack the door in their face.
What about the crawl under the stall? Like, are you here, bro?
No.
That's not a thing.
Kids do that.
That's for 9-year-olds. It's not a thing.
Fair. Okay. So no punishment for the lingerer. Punishment only for the person who didn't lock them.
No punishment for anybody.
Their punishment is that they have to deal with the lingerer.
Okay. This one is the dinner party, the loud comment. At a fancy dinner, you try to impress everyone by talking about your wild weekend, but instead of saying we had an epic night out, you accidentally say I had the best after party. Let's just say a few things got really kinky and the room goes silent. So we'll say Rick likes this one. To me, this is the one-upper. What's the punishment for someone who is chronically one-upping you in storytelling? Yeah, so what's the punishment? I think...
Specifically at the fancy dinner, just for clarification?
I think the fancy dinner gives it some context. Like,
No,
I think there are times where it's okay to be a one-upper. Like, if you're with the boys and you're talking about different stories, and it's okay to, like... juxtapose a little bit.
No. Yeah, you go first.
So for me, one-upper, whether it's talking about an event or a job or something like that, I would say more times than not, it has some kind of monetary value or something that you're showing, hey, I'm more important. So I think you have to pay it forward. So like if you are trying to one-up somebody and the room says no, you have to pay back the person you're trying to one-up. Like whether it's, if you're talking about, I make more money than that person, all right, you owe that person money. If you're talking about, well, I get laid more than that person, then hey, that person gets to go sleep with your wife. So whatever you're trying to one-up, if the crowd votes, well, you just try to one-up him, now he can go do whatever he wants based on what you're trying to one-up on.
So contextual punishment based on the story that they're one-upping. Okay.
Because you're not one-upping somebody just one-on-one.
You can. People do that.
But then they can just call you a douche.
Right. So, to your original point, where I was talking about like with the boys, I think if Taylor, gathering my thoughts real quick, I think yes, but there's a different kind of context to that.
Right.
Because I think in that sense, if you're with the boys, it's not one-upping in this sense of negative. Like you're only going to do that if it truly is a better story. And in that sense, it's for the lulz.
Right.
Yeah. Or for the accolade, whatever. But in the negative one-upping sense, it may or may not be, but it's not to enhance the situation, it's to steal the spotlight. Right. And then so in that sense, I think especially in the fancy dinner party, I appreciate the context one. I think that's funny, but I think you have to almost anti-steal the spotlight or reverse steal the spotlight.
You have to make them be a waiter.
So I like that. That's sort of where I'm going. I'm not going to go with that specifically, but I think you almost have to like go to the kids' table at Thanksgiving kind of aspect. But in this sense, like you get like half of everything you need. Like you have to sit like half a chair.
My brother could beat up your brother.
Half a table.
Bro, you're 9 years old. What's your net worth?
Like it's an awkward way to eat a meal. Like you get half to play of everything.
Fortnite. It's got to be the tiny chairs too, with like your knees, your knees.
Or maybe you do make them sit at a kid's table in that sense, where all the kids don't give a shit.
You go to the one-upper table where everybody one-ups themselves.
That would be
it's like a black hole.
It's just an instant and never-ending feed. But I like kids. I'm gonna go two options here. I like the kids table, or you're like you get half of everything you need to eat the meal, and we're all watching you. Like you have to surrender half a shoe. You sit at half the table. All right, kids table works for me.
The idea I had, which was kind of similar, is kind of like how you train a pet with like a spray bottle. And you just have somebody when they open their mouth, you're like, no, quit it. But I like kids table better. I think there should be a table.
I like
kids
that.
table.
Should be both.
I like
the one-uppers.
I think you get squirted until you go to the kids table.
It might so non-contextual. I'm sitting there going, make the guy have two thoughts.
You just want to hit people. That's what we've learned. At the end of the, what did we learn
Debbie
today?
gets violent when she's on a few drinks.
What did we learn
Actually,
today?
This
Debbie
one we're
chooses
not
violence.
hitting. This one I think I'd like to maybe shave off an eyebrow.
Okay.
Or do something, you know, or the other
They're
thought.
going to turn that into a good story, though.
Of course. But the other thought is, and I think it would just be fun, even though it would be a punishment. What if, like, the person had to, everything that came out of his mouth had to be
Untrue.
No, like from movie lines.
Pick it up what I'm putting down. Yes.
No, but like only speak in movie
That sounds like a fun challenge. honestly.
context.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Rick's cooking. Because usually the one-uppers are highly over-exaggerating.
Yeah,
There
oh,
were
I got it.
1,000 firefighters.
Right. So they have to prove it.
Why are there 1,000 of us?
And so their punishment is everything that they say, all of the gross over-exaggerations come true, and they have to live with the consequences of what that actually means.
It's like a 100-hour nap.
Yeah. You took a coma? You were in a coma. That could be. I like the kids' table as like a instant
I like
one.
the squirt bottle.
I think that kind of goes hand in hand because we really should use squirt bottles on kids anyway.
Or pets, honestly.
Should.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think of a lot more adults I can use a squirt bottle.
Well, most of
Because they
those,
didn't get it as children.
That's right.
agree.
And honestly, it would feel worse as an adult than a kid.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be water.
Tequila.
It could be tequila.
Straight vinegar.
I don't want to reward him.
That's true.
So I think until I feel like in about 10 minutes, Rick's going to want to come back to this about what I just said. But until then, we're going to go with kids' table. Let's do 2 more. We're not going to get through all 10 of these.
We can save them, bro.
We can save them.
Sim for rain.
The gym flex. So this is you're trying to impress someone by lifting very heavy weights, but you end up not necessarily failing, but making like really embarrassing noises as you lift weights.
You shit your pants.
He
Oh,
gave
yes,
you
I
them
did.
beforehand?
I hope not.
Oh, the question? Yeah.
I did not give. Oh, I gave her the 3 topics. I didn't give her these before.
No, not these.
What were the topics?
So Ben's doing. If you're trying too hard at the gym to impress someone and you're making lots of obnoxious, weird noises, you just shit your pants.
Oh no, sorry, that wasn't the punishment. I thought you were leading up to something like that, like you're trying to flex.
It's just that like
and then you completely fail,
one
like you
person
shit your pants or
who's-
something.
who's just trying too hard at the gym and like
Oh, and they think it looks cool, but it really doesn't.
right. I don't mind the occasional, like pushing a little bit more, but I'm talking the gross over exaggeration of people like yelling while they're lifting weights.
Can I make it just very simple?
Yeah.
Can they have to spend the whole rest of the day or week or whatever it is, especially in the gym, with toilet paper hanging out of their shoe or underwear?
Okay.
That's. I'm not
I
going to go
like-
the
I
same
like
thing, but that's
shit
where I'm
pants.
taking it. For me, you have to use inflatable weights for the next month at the gym. So anytime you go and lift the weight, like the bar is like the pool noodle, and you put little floaties on the end as your weights. And you
Hyper
have,
neon bright.
yes, and you have to still do the normal workout you would have done, like in terms of like exercises and all that. But any weight equipment you use is pool floaties
But can't we have
and noodles.
toilet paper coming out of a shoe at the
Yeah,
same
sure,
time?
that's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
You can
fine.
use toilet paper rolls
Because I think
the weights.
because overall, I think it accomplishes the same goal. Like
Well, I mean, the guy is obviously trying to show off. So, yeah.
right. I want negative attention brought to you because that's the energy you're wanting to get.
I like that with like you no matter what the exercise is, you have to have a spotter who's like either on one end of the spectrum or the other, like over exaggerated like lifeguard safety with like the thing around, or very like emasculating, like got a pink tutu on and like a fairy princess crown.
One or the other.
And
Was
it's
it a
like
Russian
you're-
Kodiak bear wearing a pink tutu?
So what, are we going to go with one specifically, or we're just saying
The combination.
combo? Okay.
Yeah, all of that.
I did like Ben. You just immediately came out with accidentally just shitting their pants. I like that one too. Just if you were loud and obnoxious at the gym.
You lock them out of the bathroom? Is that
No, just as you're doing your set, somehow they
You
end up
just shit
shitting their
yourself.
pants.
Wasn't it Kick-Ass
lock 'em out of the
2?
bathroom.
Where
But
she
that
had
does
like a machine
ruin
that if
whatever
it touched
machine.
somebody, they would shit their
Oh, made
pants.
him shit.
Yeah.
All right, our last one. The workplace flirty reply all email.
What?
Where
As
the
in-
fuck do you work?
You're at work. Someone is flirting with you via email for some reason, but ends up sending it to the entire company.
I think that's
I
the
feel like that's
punishment.
punishment enough.
Like,
Next.
Okay. The uninvited kiss at the wedding. During the wedding reception, you get swept up in the excitement and drunkenly kiss someone you thought was your spouse, but you realize it's actually your cousin.
Were you the one getting married?
No.
It doesn't say that necessarily. So accidentally kissing your cousin is the social faux pas.
Well, again, that's sort of its own.
Could be second cousins.
Not if you live in the South.
Or if you're in
Then they
Alabama, it
don't
could be
want a
first cousins.
punishment because it is legit.
No, that would be brother sister.
not even remotely related to what we're talking about. I just saw Debbie's notepad, and what is all this?
She's got a list of punishments.
Am I punishment? You want to hear some of that?
Yeah, let's just
New topic.
pivot to punishments.
We're done with this one.
Moving on.
Just
Okay.
The last 5 minutes was
I
Debbie
was
reading
having-
off.
I don't have a last call, so this is great.
So you can pick whatever scenario you want.
I don't even want to hear the scenario. I just want to hear the punishments.
I don't have a scenario.
Perfect.
I just thought.
Read them off, and we're going to tell you if they're potentially
Everybody get
Ooh, thumbs up,
an
thumbs down.
actual punishment or potentially something sexual.
Okay. Depending on, somebody has to walk around all day with a feather duster and dust everything everywhere they go.
Kinky.
Definitely.
I don't know why you're making cleaning a bad thing.
Because it is.
No, that's the guest that comes over to your house and points out that something's not clean.
No, but then they take care of it.
Change your speech for the day. Either talk like a robot, talk with an accent, a parrot,
Sounds like a good time.
do Shakespeare.
I like
or just-
that one for the person who flexes.
I'll just do that tomorrow.
Of course, I have public caning on there and the toilet paper stuck to your shoe and shaving off your eyebrow. Oh my gosh, having to chug a pint of milk. Like actually a gallon of milk.
Gallon of milk.
Gallon challenge.
Gallon challenge.
Punishment.
That's definitely a punishment.
With a hint of kinky.
We did have Mark and his friends in the backyard, and Joseph chose chocolate milk. Go out for the day, and all day long you have to walk a pretend dog or cat.
I'd do that tomorrow.
I think that's just funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, you'd probably get a number or two.
You remember those?
Yeah.
The invisible.
The invisible
Yes,
leashes.
yes.
Like Six Flags or Disney World.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Walk around backwards all day. Just walk backwards all day.
Viral video.
We did that in band.
How about it's got to be in a group setting, I guess, but every time you choose somebody chooses a specific word, and every time they say the word, you have to do 10 push-ups.
Okay. It's definitely a punishment.
Is that like military?
Yeah. Rick's having
I was
PTSD.
like, oh, I've done that.
I want to go back to Rick's original
got that
slap
1,000-yard
idea.
stare
Every time they say the word, it's a slap in the face.
Stand on the corner all day and pretend to be a statue
Okay. Yeah.
or a hooker. I told you, only talking movie quotes. How about this for a connection? Drink your coffee from a plate.
I don't like that. That's
I
a
know
punishment.
you
That's a
don't.
real
Yeah,
punishment.
that's cruel.
Play.
That's cruel and unusual.
I
After,
think they outlined that in the Geneva.
It's a war crime.
go through the drive-thru wearing underwear on your head.
That's fine. She didn't say naked with your underwear.
No, I did not.
That's fine.
Whose underwear?
Right. Make up a dance routine for a nursery rhyme, not teapot, because you already have that one.
What about Itsy Bitsy Spider?
There you go. Dance it. Go for it.
Itsy Bitsy
I said
Spider.
dance. I didn't say play with your hands.
Sometimes it's the same
Dance.
thing.
No.
I'll show you my Itsy Bitsy Spider if you want.
Excuse me, Debbie. What do you think the hand job is?
It's not a dance.
Hey, bro.
That's two guys not knowing what they're doing.
You have to say yes to everything that you're told to do that day.
That's a punishment.
That's definitely a punishment.
No.
Whoever you've wronged, you have to wash their car wearing a ridiculous outfit.
Okay.
Walk around all day long like a T-Rex, not a 5-year-old.
I'll do that tomorrow. I would literally do that.
Do you have to speak like a T-Rex, or is it just the walk?
Just the walk.
Okay.
Do I get a tail?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have that. I'll do it. And it's so hot. It's so hot in the inflatable T-Rex costume.
Oh yeah. Walk around with a sign that says "Ask me what I did."
Ask me about my wheel.
Such a good
Spend the day using only 3 words. You can only say 3 words.
I think that would be good if you didn't get to pick the 3 words.
Right.
Like
Right,
I got to pick
right.
your 3 words.
See, I would do this. Ask a stranger for a selfie. I would do that.
Oh, that's nice.
And every time you get on the elevator,
Ask every stranger for yourself.
there you go.
That's a punishment.
And every time you get on an elevator, you have to do the Macarena and sing.
Hey, Macarena.
Can we? A good social experiment. How many people? Everybody on that elevator to do the Macarena.
I bet you could.
Can we drill down on the every stranger selfie? Like,
Go on.
where would the limits of that be? Like, is it like if they walked across your, like if I physically saw them, I have to go see them, and I'm not saying like chase a car down as they drive away.
No, I think
but
in my
also,
imagination, we're doing realistic
Person standard.
No, but right, and even to that point, like let's say you're at Quick Strip.
Of like let's say I go to the grocery
I
store.
hope you don't get shot while you're doing it.
Wait, what?
Let's say I go to the grocery store.
Sure.
If I make
Murder trip.
even a bit of eye contact with the person, be like, "Hey, I'm just trying to do this challenge. Can I get this?" So if they're all the way over in the freezer aisle and you're in the, you know,
And then
grocery.
you see them on the most wanted list. Like,
Well, yeah, but I think that's a perfect example. Like, let's drill down on that. And I guess and I appreciate reasonable person standard,
Reasonable person.
but also like let's say, like and that's then like you could potentially make eye contact that far away, and so like that's sort of where I wanted to drill down on this. Like, where do you draw that line? Is that
I don't know.
because that could be a fantastic.
I don't
punishment.
think. I think it would ruin it if you had to chase the person down.
No, for sure.
So like if you were passing in the aisles, and that's reasonable person standard of like, hey, can I get a selfie
Yeah, and
really
they're
quick?
like, nah, and then they're out. Yeah, no, I get it.
But if it's you and one other person in this Quick Trip and they're all the way on the other side and you just go, hey, can I get a selfie? And they can hear you, I think that's okay. If there's 20 people,
You can get the whole place in one selfie.
that's, yeah. Because a selfie is literally just a picture of yourself. FF fun fact.
Is a person still a stranger if you take a selfie with them?
Ooh. Asking the real questions.
You have been immortalized.
No,
technically.
but they're a stranger until you selfie. Therefore, encouraging the selfie.
What?
But what have they become? Because they're not a
That's the
friend.
selfie person standard.
They're not.
They're an acquaintance.
Are they?
I don't know.
Acquaintance. I feel like we've shared some personal information.
They're a Facebook friend. And not necessarily a real Facebook friend.
Yeah.
But I think they're that level of friend.
Facebook.
be a selfie friend?
The person you met on that cruise that one time that you're not going to talk to
Right,
again.
yes, that's
I have
the
a couple of
Facebook
those
friend.
social
I'm
media-
not saying because
social
like all
media
of us are
friends.
friends on Facebook. I don't mean that.
Yeah, I know
We're
what you
not
mean.
Facebook friends. We're friends who are also friends on Facebook. But yeah, you're that. You're the person who you met one time.
Social media friend.
It's just a media friend. Like we've
Sure,
we've
yeah.
made media.
Internet acquaintance.
Yes.
The IA.
Not to be confused with AI.
The AI,
Although you're
AI.
So what are the topics?
You beat me to it. Let's just
On that note, Debbie, thank you so much for joining us. I know I don't have
Thank
to
you
thank
for letting me.
You're always welcome. New episodes every Wednesday. Like and subscribe. Follow us on the socials at @the_bar banter. And just remember, this is our podcast. And you're just along for the ride. For the ride. For the ride?
For the ride.
What are the topics?
Chicka chicka, yeah.